So this is a video to try to understand what happened with Jholie Moussa. She was the young girl that was discovered murdered in Fairfax, Virginia, just yesterday. Now, I do want to say that I did these cards before I looked up like anything on the case. I had read a very short blurb about how her body had been found, so I just wanted to see what the cards brought up. I did further research the case after I did my cards, so it's interesting because it very much correlates. So starting off, what I see is that she was murdered by a boyfriend. Okay, he's represented here. He's very like headstrong, dominant person, and he did try to cover it up. The way he tried to cover it up is he's the one who sent the text. So there was a text message, the last text message that was sent, that she said that she was going to go to a party in Norfolk, which was like three hours away or so from Fairfax. And the text message was sent to her sister, and her sister was very confused by that, thought it was very strange. And that what these cards are telling me is that that text message was sent from him through her phone after she was murdered, in hopes to cover up that he had murdered her. Now, what I see is that now, before I looked up anything on the case, I felt from these cards that he was known to the police. Like, the police had an inkling of who it was, but he has an alibi, and so there was a little bit of trying to figure out a way to get this guy to slip up. What in other cards that I asked, what it seems to me is the way that because after I looked it up, I saw something that said that they had arrested a person of interest, and so what I think happened is they probably interrogated him, and they probably got varying stories on his alibi. So and what I got from the cards was that he probably gave like 3 different alibis that didn't make sense at that point, because like what the card said is that he would have said he was at work, he would have said he was with another girl, and he would have said he was at home. So so there's all these alibis that he's said, and which gave them cause to be able to arrest him, because I think they were waiting. They knew who the person of interest was, probably because that's who she was last texting, was this man or boy or whatever, and they were waiting for him to slip up, basically, so that they could arrest him. Obviously they got that out of him. What I see is that justice will be done, the truth will come out, it will restore balance to the situation, because he will be caught, he will go to jail. What I saw was that, first of all, with the other cards that I pulled, what it was saying was that the reason why she didn't tell her sister was because this guy was known to her. So he was a guy from her past who was bad for her. Like, people knew that this guy was bad for her, or she knew that he was bad for her, but so did her family and friends. So so that's why she wouldn't have told anybody that she was seeing this person again. What I see is that he wanted to break up with her. Okay, and it was difficult to do for him, so he had trouble breaking up with her. But I think there could be also another element to this, which is I kept getting that I think it's going to come out that she was pregnant, and that he didn't want to be a father, and he didn't want the responsibility, and that like he probably asked her to get an abortion, probably even tried to give her money for an abortion, but she wanted to keep the baby. And if that is the case, then that's what happened. That, you know, there was a whole thing of like, I don't want a kid with you, and I just want to break up with you. And what I got was that she didn't want either of those things. She wanted to keep the baby and stay with him. Now, I did get that he did contemplate running. So he did contemplate like trying to move to a different place, or you know, like however that means. And he definitely felt like if it does come out that she was pregnant, he definitely felt that the baby would have like destroyed his life. So that's why he didn't want to be a father. And he probably also, because I don't think he loved her, I think he was using her for sex and things like that. But also, the last thing I have is I asked why her friends were not cooperating with the authorities, and it basically just said to me that that the friends were not cooperating because they just don't want to be involved. Like, they don't want it to affect their lives in any way, and so and there could be a little bit of like mistrust with police. So there's just like people just don't want to be involved. So that's why there's some non-cooperation. I doubt that they would know anything about the murder or why this person murdered her, because what I got was that you know, she was keeping everything very close to her chest because she didn't want people to know that she was speaking to this guy again, or hanging out with him, or sleeping with him again, because he was known to be bad news. So so don't worry, you know, justice will be served, but it's very sad that her life was taken, and I just I pray for her and her family, and you know, I hope she's resting in peace. All right, thanks for listening, and that's my reading on Jholie Moussa.